is your life's measure. I used to be a ski instructor, and I used to tell my students that the secret ingredient to learning how to ski was the smile. And if you would lead with your smile, the rest would follow.
Awesome, awesome. I think what a couple people have said is that being positive in everything keeps you on the path to success, and it eventually becomes second nature. It takes some practice, but these guys they do it automatically. And so, Jessica, we haven't picked on you yet, and you're a great person to speak about the next leadership dimension on connecting. And one of the things that I always say about Jessica, and you guys can let me know if you agree, she has a great talent for combining finesse with strength without being overpowering. And I think that's undoubtedly been part of your success, but also another reason is connecting. And I think, can you tell us how you do it so well, and how does that work?
Well, thanks for that wonderful introduction. Connecting and building relationships is something that's come naturally to me since I was a kid. In fact, when I was thinking about my comments, I can think back to being 5 years old and getting ready to go to kindergarten and being so excited, probably mostly to get out of the house because I was from a small town, but excited to meet everybody in my class and learn their name and make as many friends as possible. And it really wasn't as hard as you think. I think there were 15 people in my class. But instinctively, even at that age, I understood the value of building a relationship with somebody. Back then, it was, having a best friend to share a secret with or someone to sit with at lunch. But again, at age 5, I think we still know that relationships are valuable. And that's really stuck with me the rest of my life. My first job out of college, I worked for Reynolds Construction doing business development. I did that for about 10 years. And my boss, Rick Reynolds, who obviously ran the business but was greatly involved in the sales process, always preached to us about relationships. It's all about the value of the relationships. Relationships, relationships, relationships. We would win a project if he would say, we had the best relationship, that's why we won. We would lose a project and he'd say, you didn't have the right relationship. So I got it pretty quickly that that was going to make or break our business. But here I was in my early 20s, and what network did I have? My network was a bunch of other 20-somethings, and quite frankly, all they were good for was telling you where the best happy hour was on a Thursday night. So I thought to myself, what do I do? How do I build a network? And fortunately for me, Reynolds was a company, and still is, that's very involved in the community, and I used that as one of my first stepping stones to build relationships in my network. United Way, I want to talk a little bit about that. I started volunteer for the United Way campaign in 1997. I served on the cabinet and have been a volunteer in a variety of ways ever since then. Early on, what a tremendous experience for me, because as someone in their early 20s, I was able to work side by side with some of Harrisburg's great leaders. Not only did I get to learn about the community, but I got to learn from these other people. And these are people that I still keep in touch with today. And what I learned is, if people like you, they will help you. And so I got a lot of help from those relationships I built. The other great thing, because I've stayed involved with United Way, that I had the opportunity to do recently, about 3 years ago, United Way started an affinity group called the Bridges Society. I was a co-founder. This group was started to bring on the next generation of leaders in United Way. In just 3 years, we have 400 members, and our purpose is to give back to United Way, to network, to connect other young leaders with other young leaders, and also provide them access to successful leaders in the community. And we also volunteer. But talk about connecting and building relationships. I mean, having the opportunity to start an organization that one of their primary purposes is to do that. So by getting involved in an organization like that, really helped me to connect, build relationships, and help other people build relationships. So I wanted to talk about that. The other organization that I got involved with was Harrisburg Young Professionals. I joined their board in 2005, at the end of that year, and did the same thing. I got really involved right away. I didn't just sit on the board and go to my meetings. I chaired events. I got busy. I did things. After 2 years, someone from the nominating committee contacted me and said, "Jessica, we want you to be president." And by this time, I owned my own business, and I said, "Oh, geez, thanks, that's really kind, but there's gotta be someone else, someone better that can do it. Really, I can't, you know I have my own business, right? But I just can't do it. And this very wise person said to me, Jessica, listen, all great leaders are reluctant. Nobody wants to step up and do it, but you can do it. And this very wise person is, I'm actually married to now. And I don't think we were dating at that particular time, so that wasn't why he influenced me. But my point in telling you this is we all need to surround ourselves with people like that in our lives. A sponsor, a mentor, someone that's going to see something in you that you don't see in yourself and say, you should do this, you can do this. And so I did it, and it was a great experience, and it was a big year, and I had a lot of opportunities to meet other young professionals, speak in front of groups like this, Rotary. I got to speak at the state conference for young professionals, but the point is, if I had not done that, if I hadn't taken that opportunity, if I hadn't listened to that advice, all the relationships and connections that I would have missed out on, they would have gone away. And I would certainly be remiss before I wrap up my comments if I didn't mention Leadership Harrisburg and the opportunities to connect there. Of course, the relationships with the people in my class were great, and other people I've met over the years were great. But the thing that it really did for me when I look back on it is it helped me build my confidence. Again, I was approaching, I think I was just almost 30 years old when I went through LHA, but it put me into situations through team projects, speaking in front of the group, that I wasn't comfortable in, and it helped me build my confidence. And that confidence, again, I think helps you go out, build relationships, take risks, and do things like that. So what advice I'd like to leave you with is, if you don't have the relationships you think you need or the connections, get out there, do something, use the community, because I'll tell you what, I've given a lot, but I've gotten back tenfold, what I've put in. So
Awesome.
I'd leave you with that.
That's awesome, and I think a lot of people concur, everybody up here concurs, and it's amazing how much we hear about networking and networking events, and really, I think what you're saying is it's not who you know, or who knows you, but who you have a relationship with, who you really know, who you can converse with. So it's not how many people you meet, it's who you really know. And that's really important. And Beth, you alluded to this before too when you talked about managing energy and you talked about relationships and the types you should have. So what relationships should we build?
I think first and foremost, make sure you have a mentor, whether it be for your community service work or professionally, and seek out a mentor. If there's somebody that you really respect and admire, ask them if they'll mentor you. They will most likely be very honored to do that for you. I also think you need to take the networks you're affiliated with and connect them with one another. I was really fortunate to be able to do that twice with Leadership Harrisburg. Several years ago, Leadership Harrisburg had a community service project. I was able to connect them with the Four Diamonds Fund, and we participated in Siblings Unique Day down at the Medical Center. That was a lot of fun, and it was a good exposure to the LHA volunteers to an organization at that time that they didn't know a lot about. And also recently, I was able to